discoveries by enterprising inventors take center stage this week.
I'll meet up with my favorite Minbari, Babylon 5's Mira Furlan.
Plus, news from the Sci-Fi Wire, a preview of the bizarre summer TV series Super Adventure Team, and the legendary Arthur C. Clarke talks about his epic 2001. You've entered a galaxy of sci-fi entertainment. I'm Chase Masterson.
And I'm Scott Mantz. On this show, we'll review the hits and misses of the summer movie season. But first, here's the latest buzz from the Sci-Fi Wire.
We're talking violence, strong language, adult content.
Joss Whedon, creator of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, is developing an animated musical based on the legend of Dracula. He's also expected to write the songs for the film. Now, this will be Whedon's first musical, but he has had some practice. He wrote one of the songs for the video sequel to The Lion King. And if that isn't enough of a resume, he also penned the screenplays for both Toy Story and Alien Resurrection.
Remember me?
Gene Roddenberry's Earth, Final Conflict, has lost one of its stars. Kevin Kilner, who played the lead character Boone, has left the hit series to pursue a film career. Kilner's departure leaves the show's producers scrambling to find a replacement. Expect the Boone character to return in season 2, but with a completely different face.
Captain to crew, stand by to reverse polarity.
Leslie Nielsen's heading back into space. And this next trip sounds stranger than anything his character, Commander Adams, saw on Forbidden Planet. Nielsen is currently preparing to write and star in a spoof of the sci-fi classic 2001: A Space Odyssey. The parody will be called, what else, but 2001: A Space Travesty. And if Arthur C. Clarke is watching this by satellite, I hope this news didn't make you groan too loudly. If you want daily sci-fi news updates, check out the online Sci-Fi Wire. Just point your browser to www.scifi.com.
You know, Chase, I'm telling you, the movie studios spent more money making genre films this summer than ever before. Now, there was something for everyone, and since I've seen them all, here's my take on the hits and misses so far. The summer movie season certainly started off with a bang with the surprise hit Deep Impact. Who would have guessed that this humanistic look at space disaster would go on to outgross Godzilla? Not me, that's for sure. But I think audiences could really relate to the characters. And they were probably still in the mood for a good cry after falling in love with Titanic. Perhaps even more surprising was the backlash against Godzilla.
Fire! Fire well!
Though the film made over $50 million in its first weekend, most critical reaction was harsh. Then the box office receipts took a quick and steep dive. When the smoke finally cleared, the monstrous movie turned out not to be the monster hit its studio had promised.
Well, we're FBI agents. You're not FBI agents.
How do you know?
Because y'all look like door-to-door salesmen.
The success of the X-Files movie Fight the Future is a bit harder to gauge. The film's budget was less than half that of Godzilla, so its $30 million plus opening weekend was seen as phenomenal. But the reviews were decidedly mixed.
They're trying to divide us on this, and we can't let them.
Well, do they have divided us?
By its second week, audience attendance had dropped more than 50%. It seems X-Files fans, like myself, lined up for opening night, but weren't quite impressed enough to see it again.
I had you big time.
You had nothing.
We're going in! We're coming in hot!
Then on 4th of July, Armageddon gave America a real fireworks show. But though the slam-bang sci-fi actioner blew the doors off the competition that weekend, it was unable to beat Deep Impact's opening numbers. And the Hollywood naysayers immediately declared it a disappointment, though it's probably still too early to tell.
We never quit! And it's another beautiful day in paradise, folks. But don't forget to buckle up out there in Radioland.
And let's not forget about The Truman Show. Even though it didn't have any aliens or spaceships, for me it still rates as one of the best sci-fi fantasy films of the year. Most critics loved it too, and audiences came out in big enough numbers to push the film's gross past the $100 million mark. No one knows yet if any of these movies will end up being the biggest film of the year, but it's safe to say this will be one memorable sci-fi summer.
Coming up, Babylon 5's lead alien, Mira Furlan, and Arthur C. Clarke takes us on his Space Odyssey.
Can you believe it's been 11 years since RoboCop opened in theaters? The date was July 17th, 1987, and it was 12 years ago that Aliens opened on July 18th, 1986. All this month, you can vote for your favorite sci-fi actress on TV Guide's website. Here's the address. And by the way, Chase Masterson's the person I'm voting for.
Watch Sliders every Monday night at 9 and log on anytime to the Sci-Fi Channel's Dominion to explore more of the many parallel worlds of Sliders.
It's 1998. One teacher is living in fear.
My brother killed my sister
How did he do that?
with a really big kitchen knife.
Now, the face of good and the face of evil will meet one last time. But this time, it's going to be a fight to the finish. Halloween H2O. Rated R. Wednesday, August 5th at a theater near you.
You don't have to be alone tonight.
Come play with me.
Just call me.
I want to play.
Pick up the phone.
Call me now. It's live, one-on-one.
We can have a really good time.
This call is free.
When you call me, pick up the phone.
This call is free. Call 1-800-679-3535. Must be 18.
I want you to call me right now. Pick up the phone.
It's free.
Mr. Sandman.
Now, Malt Shop Memories. 36 of the most romantic songs to ever come out of a jukebox.
Since I met you, baby, 16 candles for a little food. Oh, yeah. All I have to do is dream. 'Cause I want.
Call now for Malt Shop Memories. Cassettes $19.98, CDs $26.98. Have your credit card ready and call now.
For the first time on television, there exists a place of adventure.
You want a challenge, eh?
Beauty.
In a world cut off from evolution and the forces of nature.
And danger.
I will give you the challenge of your life.
A place where being a hero and getting to kiss the girl is what adventure is all about.
We're about to enter the lost world.
Sliders John Rhys-Davies, a Sci-Fi Channel premiere event. The Lost World double feature, Saturday beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal. I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
30 years ago this year, MGM took an enormous risk, which some of its executives worried might ruin the studio. It released a highly unconventional motion picture that traced humanity from its infancy to its first contact with extraterrestrial intelligence. This ambitious 1968 production revolutionized what was previously a B-film genre. Suddenly, an outer space movie was not only being taken seriously, it was redefining the aesthetics of cinema. The screenplay for 2001: A Space Odyssey was a collaboration of director Stanley Kubrick and Arthur C. Clarke.
After this lapse of time, I can no longer say what ideas were mine and what ideas were Stanley, with a few exceptions. And we embroidered so many concepts. And, you know, like a table tennis game, batting ideas back and forth. And 90% of them were probably bad. And of the 10% that survived, probably half of Stanley's and half mine.
The film launched the name of Arthur C. Clarke starward, making him the world's best-known science fiction author. In contrast to the often simplistic space movies before it, 2001 dealt with big questions, issues Clarke raises again and again in his fiction.
The main theme was, of course, the position of man in the hierarchy of the universe. Are we nearer the apes or the angels? And are, indeed, there any angels?
The most unorthodox aspect of the movie is that the dialogue did not address the film's transcendent ideas, nor did it explain the story's most significant events.
At first, everyone thought it was a disaster. I can remember at the Washington premiere, one of the MGM executives saying, well, that's the end of Stanley Kubrick.
To Hollywood's surprise, the movie was an enormous hit, particularly with baby boomers. Ironically, the sequence they liked best was the most mystifying. The kaleidoscopic ending when the one surviving character enters a time-space warp.
I saw 2001 as a realistic movie about space travel. But when it was released, the final sequences in particular, the psychedelic trip through the Stargate, turned on a lot of young people who, with, I understand, a certain chemical assistance, saw things in the film which I never did.
Clarke is considered one of the century's most important science fiction writers. He has written over 70 books and nearly 500 short stories, many of them award winners. But it's his work on this legendary film that fans will continue to talk about beyond the year 2001.
What's it like to play a Minbari? That's one question emailed from a young sci-fi entertainment viewer. So I journeyed to the set of Babylon 5 to ask my own favorite Minbari, Mira Furlan.
We want to send you out to member worlds to do first-hand research. Where that is impractical, we will put you in contact with their ambassadors here.
Once a successful stage and film actress in the former Yugoslavia, Mira Furlan has become a sci-fi star here in the U.S. Her fan base is as strong as they come, and no one is more appreciative than Mira.
It's something that I never knew it existed. I mean, it was a big, big revelation for me, you know, and to be a part of this now is like entering a new world. And people at the science fiction conventions, when I did my first one, someone said, a fan said, "Welcome to the family," you know,
wow.
to our family. And I felt, wow. You know, and to me, who left my country, left my career, left everything, it meant so much.
What's your fan base like in the former Yugoslavia?
I had bad experiences, a lot of them actually in Yugoslavia, where people, you know, coming to my door, with people, you know, with me calling the police, all kinds of things, scary. All kinds of things, scary. It can be scary, you know. And then, you know, they love you on Monday, they hate you on Tuesday, bad press, propaganda, the war came in between. It can all get, you know, you enjoy it, you enjoy this love and appreciation. But it can turn into something else in a second, and I'm aware of that, and I know it, so I'm careful.
Good morning, Captain. Oh, good morning, Ambassador. Do you mind if I walk with you for a moment? No, not at all.
I remember when the show first started, Babylon 5 was being compared to the various Star Trek shows. How do you feel about that now?
For me, there was never a competition because I didn't really know anything about it. So I really fell from Mars. I really am an alien, you know, in many ways, you know, which is kind of fun.
Jakar? You assigned Jakar as my bodyguard?
Yes. I think your generosity in working with him will be an excellent symbol of unity for all the other races who have joined the Alliance.
Mira considers the strong but sensitive Daylen to be one of TV's best female roles.
I feel privileged. I'm very glad that good female roles exist, because I was always suffering.
Wow.
Because of the lack of them. You always kind of play, you know, the function of the male character. There are so few female characters who carry the drama, you know, who carry the dramatic arch.
In November, B5 wraps up its 5-year television run. Mira is thankful to have played a part in bringing some important issues to TV audiences.
If the show has a message or messages or thoughts, underlying thoughts and so on, it's definitely an anti-nationalist, anti-racist, you know, an attempt for, you know, different people, different species, different kinds of beings to try to live together, which is something that I, let's say, was expressing when the war began in my country with no success. So in that way it meant an additional, you know, it had an additional value for me.
Next up, some incredible new inventions, and later a TV preview of a strange new series. How many inhabitants can the space station Babylon 5 hold? The answer is next.
Fantasy is reality in the world today. But I've been hanging in there
exciting. Women will make your dreams come true. Call 1-800-869-9999. That's 1-800-869-9999. Ready to take a walk on the wild side? Come on. Live your fantasy tonight. Call now.
Do you like to draw, or paint, or maybe just sketch and doodle? Well, if you do, chances are you have the interest needed to become a serious art student. To find out, simply call toll-free, and Art Instruction Schools will send you this enjoyable art test. There's no cost or obligation. Take the test at home in your spare time and mail it to us when you're done. Our experts will review and grade your test. Call our toll-free number today for your free art test. Don't let the wonderful world of art pass you by. To get your free art test without cost or obligation, call this toll-free number. Don't delay. Call this toll-free number now. Call 1-800-641-7575. That's 1-800-641-7575.
The space station Babylon 5 can hold 250,000 inhabitants. Babylon 5 is 5 miles long and contains 14 different alien atmospheres to accommodate its diverse population. You know, Scott, some of the nation's top inventors were recently honored at the 1998 Discover Awards in Orlando, Florida. I was there to meet some of the creators and their innovative creations. You could call the Discover Awards the Oscars for technological innovation. Sponsored by Discover magazine, the awards celebrate the unsung heroes who dream up new gadgets to improve our lives.
People don't know who are behind some of the hugest technological breakthroughs in our society today, and we want to name names, and the whole focus of the Discover Awards is to uncover these people and let them shine.
Prior to the awards ceremony at Epcot Center, we looked over some of the inventions nominated as finalists. This remote-controlled flying vehicle, called the Sci-Fi, definitely rated as one of my favorites.
This is Sikorsky Aircraft's unmanned vehicle. You can tell by the shape, it looks like a flying saucer. Basically, it is a helicopter with the rotors inside the shroud. The reason that we put the rotors inside the shroud was for safety, so that it could come down in confined areas, bounce off things, and you wouldn't ever have to worry about the blade striking something and potentially hurting somebody.
The Sci-Fi is designed for military uses, like surveillance, hauling supplies, and dropping payloads. While the Sci-Fi flies through the air like an alien spaceship, deep flight flies through the depths of the ocean like a jet fighter plane. The streamlined craft runs circles around the preceding class of deep-sea submersibles.
Oceans cover 2/3 of the planet. Most of that is inaccessible, so we have the bulk of the planet still to explore. And there is just simply too much to see to go at a snail's pace.
This year's Discover Award finalists included some astounding computer software that creates 3D medical images of a patient's insides. This allows a surgeon to do a dry run of an operation without any risk to the patient. And this virtual reality heart may revolutionize the way heart surgeons are trained.
You can take a pair of forceps now, touch that virtual heart, and feel it. You feel the muscle, you feel the thickness of that heart, you feel the beat. You can grab that heart with the forceps and start to pull, and you feel the resistance. It's one of the spookiest sensations you'll ever have.
This year, an award category was added for robots, since there have been so many advances in robot technology. Some of them, created at Case Western Reserve University, mimic cockroaches. Why a robo-roach? Well, turns out the fast and nimble insect is perfectly designed to carry out rescue or exploration missions over difficult terrain.
Insects like cockroaches have very unusual nervous systems. They're different from ours. And this group at Case Western Reserve was building robots that have similar sorts of nervous systems, if you will. They have 6 legs. Some of them have 8 legs. They move their legs in the same way that cockroaches do.
I thought the most impressive robot in the competition was the guide cane, which is essentially a robotic seeing eye dog for the blind. The device was selected out of 45 finalists to win one of 9 awards.
It's got little sonar detectors, and it will sense the presence of an object a few feet in front of you, and you'll walk with it. And if you're approaching an obstacle, it will sort of gently tug you around the obstacle, like a seeing eye dog.
For in-depth coverage of all the amazing finalists, check out the July issue of Discover.
You know, Chase, I met someone recently who's getting to live his sci-fi dream. He's a lifelong Spider-Man fan who's become a professional comic book artist.
I first got into Spider-Man when my mom brought home some comic books, or allowed me to buy some comic books when I was a kid back in mid-1970s. I was around 8 or 9 years old. I was also given a sketchbook, and what I did after that was obviously start drawing Spider-Man from the pictures and trying to mimic Steve Ditko's work.
Like many boys, Scott Sava was a gung-ho Spider-Man fan. Now, as an adult, he's turning a 20-year obsession into a dream career.
I first approached Marvel, as all aspiring comic book artists do, going to the comic book conventions. I got turned away pretty quickly. I was a little discouraged. I expected the world, obviously. I expected a contract and any comic book I can work on.
But Scott wouldn't give up his aspiration to draw Spider-Man professionally. Last year, he met 2 Marvel writers at a comic convention and convinced them to give him a shot at illustrating a new Spider-Man graphic novel. He's now in the midst of that project.
Unfortunately, the style that I work isn't the traditional way of working. The traditional way is penciling, inking, and then coloring. The style that I do is what's called a graphic novel. It's a fully painted, page by page. The whole thing is painted by one person.
To give his illustrations realism, Scott refers to photos when he's working.
I find my family and friends who fit the descriptions of the people that I need to paint, and I have them pose. My wife's always been my #1 model. She's always been there for me. She's gone into the kookiest outfits, and she's put up with a lot of hot lights and embarrassing pictures.
Besides illustrating the graphic novel, Scott has contributed to the Spider-Man animated TV series. He says his wife hates the fact he bounds out of bed each morning ready to go to work. But what else can you expect from a fan who's getting paid to be a fan?
Be careful what you wish for. Welcome to Paradox, an all-new original series debuting in August, only on the Sci-Fi Channel. At a secluded private school,
We could have a Halloween party. A roaming orgy. I love the way this man thinks.
4 students are about to learn
I'm not who you think I am.
their teacher's terrifying secret.
Who is that? My brother. Michael!
This summer, terror won't be taking a vacation. Halloween H2O.
Oh my God.
Rated R. Thursday, August 5th at a theater near you.
Pick up the phone tonight and call me.
It's live, one-on-one.
Don't be alone tonight. Just call me. This call is free, so call 1-800-997-GIRL. 1-800-997-GIRL. Call now.
Here's how you can more than double your current life insurance coverage without paying 1 penny more than you are now. Call Best Quote. We'll prepare a free rate comparison of 5 top-rated term life policies that meet your specific needs. Here's a sampling of the huge savings Best Quote has recently uncovered. If that's less than you're currently paying, call Best Quote today for your free rate comparison. There's no obligations and no hassles. Simply the best insurance at the best rates from Best Quote. No salesperson will ever call you.
You're on the Sci-Fi Channel. Here's what's next. For the first time on television, there exists a place of adventure.
You want a challenge, eh?
Beauty.
In a world cut off from evolution and the forces of nature.
And danger.
I will give you the challenge of your life.
A place where being a hero and getting to kiss the girl is what adventure is all about.
We're about to enter the Lost World.
Sliders John Rhys-Davies, a Sci-Fi Channel premiere event. The Lost World double feature, Saturday beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern.
You probably watched Thunderbirds when you were kids.
Oh, I sure did. In fact, the Jerry Anderson puppet series was one of my favorites.
Well, there's a new MTV series that takes those ultra-serious puppet shows and turns them on their ears.
I hereby present the Congressional Medal of Honor to Buck Murdoch and present these lovely cross pens to the other members of the Super Adventure Team.
The show is called Super Adventure Team, and each week it will try to answer the question, what if Star Trek was a soap opera performed by puppets?
I have an idea, but it's pretty far-fetched.
Let Air Force One blow up and then buddy up to the vice president.
No, you idiot.
Co-created by stand-up comic Dana Gould, who's the quirky Jimmy Clark character on the NBC series Working, Super Adventure Team will certainly be one of the strangest shows on the air. With lantern-jawed team leader Buck Murdoch breaking down into insecure sobs, Science Officer Criswell accusing everyone of sleeping with his wife, and Engineer Head engrossed in Muscle Man magazines, these are not your typical sci-fi action heroes. But they do have an awesome rocket car, a super secret base, and lots of unbelievable adventures in store. Super Adventure Team debuts this Thursday at 10:30 p.m. on MTV.
That's all the sci-fi we can fit into this week's show.
We'll be back next week with another show full of sci-fi entertainment.
Same time, same Sci-Fi Channel.
We'll see you then.
Produced in association with the Sci-Fi Channel.